Okay. So today we are going to be talking about combining tally charts and graphs. So you all have learned how to collect data using tally charts, and you've all learned how to make a graph. So we're going to learn today and tomorrow how to combine the two and take the data from a tally chart and put it onto a graph. So I'm going to show you with an example how we're going to start to do that. So this is a tally chart, a blank tally chart. And up at the top, I wrote favorite because that's going to be the topic of our tally charts. And for my example, I chose favorite fall activities. So here I would write favorite fall activities. Right now I'm just going to write FF because it's kind of hard to write on this. But and then what would go in these this column here, these 4 blank spaces? What would go there? Yeah, my choices. So I came up with 4 fall activities that people could choose from, and this is what my final tally chart looks like. As you can see, I have favorite fall activities, and I came up with pumpkin carving, scary movies, apple picking, and hay rides. So I'm going to ask you guys what your favorite fall activities are, and as you tell me, I'm going to tally them, which is also known as collecting my data, right? So raise your hand if your favorite, or I'll give you a second to quickly think of which one of these is your favorite fall activity. Might not be your favorite of all time, but you have to choose one of the ones that I listed. So, all right. Whose favorite out of these 4 is pumpkin carving? Okay, 4. So I'm going to draw 4 tallies. Whose favorite is scary movies? 2. Whose favorite is apple picking? Oh, 7. Big one. All right. Who remembers how I make a 5 with tally marks? Do I make them like all the rest? Good. I make a cross. Once there's 5, you got to cross them. So that's 5, 6, 7. All right. And whose favorite is hay rides? All right. 5. Okay. So once I get to 4, make it a cross. All right. So if I were just doing a tally chart, I would be done, right? Because I collected all my data. But tomorrow, we're going to put this on a graph. So your job today is you're all going to get one of these papers, and I want you to pick a favorite of something. Could be favorite movie, favorite color, animals, school subjects, anything you want. It's your choice. Be creative. And then pick 4 choices and write them in the column. And then once you do that, I'm going to give you a chance, maybe like 15 minutes, to walk around and get out of your seats and get data from each other. But we're going to try to keep the volume at a 2. Remember, it's not recess. We don't want to get too crazy with this, but it'll be fun getting to know what each other's favorites are. So that's what we're going to do today. And then tomorrow we'll be back and we'll start our graphs. So day 2. All right, everybody, pull out your finished tally sheets from yesterday. I saw a lot of you getting good data from them. All right. So today we're going to be making our graphs. So this is what my blank graph looks like. So similar to the blank tally chart, I have favorite and then a spot for my title. And then I have the 4 spots for me to write my choices. So I'm going to have the same exact title as I did on my tally chart because it's going to be showing the same data. So I'm going to have the same title. So mine would be favorite fall activities. And then my 4 choices were pumpkin carving, scary movies, apple picking, and hay rides. So those are the ones that I wrote in here. So why don't you all take a minute to fill in your blank charts with your title and your categories. Remember, 1 for each column here. All right, so you're done with that. All right, so I'll show you how we're going to do this. So my first category here is pumpkin carving. So if I look back to yesterday's chart, how many people voted for pumpkin carving as their favorite? How many tallies are there? 4, right. So I'm going to go to my graph, and for pumpkin carving, I'm going to count up 4. Notice that these are counting up by 2s, so be careful. You're not going to count 4 boxes because that would show 8. You're just going to count up to 2 boxes because that shows 4. So here, I'm just going to fill in my 4 people who voted for pumpkin carving. You're just going to color it in. Hopefully yours looks better than mine because it's kind of hard to do on here, and that would be that. So then we would look to the next one, which would be scary movies. How many people voted for scary movies? Right, 2. So I'm going to go back to my graph. I'm going to ask you to use different colors so I don't get confused. So 2, since we're counting by 2s, remember, each block is worth 2, would only be 1 block because not many people liked scary movies. So color that one in. And then let's see, our apple picking was our big one. How many? Good, 7. So 7, so we're counting by 2s, but 7 is not a multiple of 2. So what would I do? How would I show 7? I would go up to 6, right? But 7 is between 6 and 8. So I would have to cut this block in half to show 7. So here's my 7. And then lastly, we have our 5 for hay rides. So, which again is not an even number. So we would go up to 4 and then 1 more, which would be half of that block. So this is what our class graph looks like for our favorite fall activities. And you can see that it shows the same exact data that the tally chart shows, but just in a different way. So this one is shown by bars and the other one is shown by tallies. So your job is to take your blank graph, fill in your title. Remember, same title as the tally chart, same categories, and then you're going to look to how many tallies you have in each one and fill them in, color them in. Remember, please use different colors, and that will show me the differences of each one. So you're going to work on that. And then when you're finished, we're going to do a little something different today because I want to see how well you guys know this stuff. So I made this little quiz for you. Don't stress about it. It's not going to be graded or anything. It's just for me to know how well you're doing and how well you understand it, to know if you need more help with it or if we're all set to move on to the next topic. So just come up to me and I'll give it to you once you're finished. So it's just some questions like which item had the most votes using your graph, which item had the least votes. I'm going to have you draw some tallies, answer some questions about this graph here. And then this one is a novel question, which just means it's not something that we talked about today or yesterday, but it's something that I think if you guys use your thinking, you might be able to figure it out. So I want to see. It's kind of like a bonus question to see if you guys can figure that one out. So just try your best with this. Don't stress out. It's just for me to know how well you understand the subject, okay? So I'm going to be walking around and I'll help if you guys need any questions. But yeah,